If you know me or have followed my beauty reviews for really any length of time, you would know that I am allergic to beauty trends. They're very off-putting to me. So when I sense that something is trendy, be it an ingredient or a type of product or anything like that, I tend to recoil. And I may eventually revisit these things later when certain hype has died down. And that's really been what has turned me off from CBD being put in skincare and I think some makeup products as well in the eco beauty space. Maybe it's migrated to the conventional beauty space. I don't have my finger on that pulse quite as much, but really in the eco beauty space for a number of years now. And when you start seeing something crop up a lot, my antennas, I guess, kind of go up. So I learned that Prima was going to be the brand featured in Beauty Heroes for August. Just make me out of hand, be like, I'm just gonna skip my review this month. I'm not even sure I'm gonna try these products. But I unboxed them on my Instagram stories earlier this week. And I started thinking, well, maybe I do have some circumstances in my life that would necessitate trying at least some of the products in this box. So there's 3 full-size products this month: the Beyond Body Oil, the R&R Cream, and the Sleep Tight Soft Gel Capsules. So I had just totaled it up. I think the retail value for this box is somewhere around $140, $150. I always have all the information down below about how you can subscribe to Beauty Heroes. You can do one-time boxes. You can do 3, 6, and 12-month subscriptions with declining cost the longer that you subscribe. And for first-time subscribers, I have a 15% off discount code on any term subscription. It's LAMOUR15. But again, all that information is always down below in the description box of my videos. So as I was unboxing, I thought that the first product that looked the most interesting to me, the thing that I was the most gravitating the most towards, was this body oil, just because I'm kind of in need of body oil, body product type of thing. It is packaged really beautifully, and I will test certain CBD infused bath and body products from time to time, but they've never really become a mainstay or a staple in my routine. The other 2 products, initially I was going to kind of write off completely or see if my husband Kaveh might be interested in trying them, but then I thought that this R&R cream was worth a little test drive, because over the last couple of months, really acutely during the month of July, but it cropped up way back in March, I have been going through a very, very painful bout of wrist and thumb joint tendinitis. This apparently is very common in postpartum mothers in particular, because obviously during pregnancy, you have a lot of hormonal changes and you have a lot of muscle relaxing hormonal changes. And then you go right into parenting a baby and other children, if you have other children at home. And it's just so much wear and tear on your wrists and your hands and your joints with all the repetitive movement. So that combination leads to this being a very stressed part of the body on whatever your dominant hand. There's actually a special name for this kind of tendinitis. It's called de Quervain's, I think, tendinitis. So I had taken to Instagram. I got a lot of really good feedback on how to treat it. I did a course of homeopathy and cell salt therapy. I've been using St. John's wort oil and Solomon's seal tincture, which is an herb that's very lubricating to the joints. So I've had really good success with that. I did also wear a brace for a period of time, but the thing with tendinitis is that it has a tendency to crop back up a lot. So I'm a little worried that I may be dealing with this on and off for, I don't know, it's unforeseen. But I started thinking that perhaps this R&R cream was worth a test drive to see if it could benefit my tendinitis, which is 90% improved, but it is still quite stiff in the morning. I don't have 100% mobility and I'm not 100% pain-free. So I started thinking that this could be a great way to test that. Now, the one product that I will not be testing for several reasons, which I'll enumerate, are these capsules. So these kind of look like this. They almost look like sort of little jelly beans. They smell quite good, but I'll kind of take a spin through the ingredient list with you and kind of let you know my thoughts, and then just let you know my always in process thoughts on supplementation in general. I don't know a ton about this brand Prima, but I do know that they are pretty well established in the CBD functional botanicals space. I actually was doing just a bit of light research on CBD products, and I saw that Jessica DeFino, who's a pretty well-known beauty journalist, quite critical of a lot of practices in the beauty industry, had written an article, I think way back in 2018, about Prima. I'll try and find it again and link it down below, but it's, you know, 4 years ago at this point, when I think that there was still a lot of concern about sourcing and quality and byproducts and residues and all of that kind of thing. The article is really about finding a quality CBD and like trusting the producer and the suppliers and all of that to actually create a product that's going to make a difference for people. So it was kind of a skeptical article, but also had sort of a promising tone to it, if you will. And DeFino had really cited Prima as an ideal brand to look up to, who's kind of doing it right in the CBD product space. They are B Corp certified, carbon neutral, plastic neutral, glyphosate residue free. They use a single origin sourced certified organic hemp CBD at the root of all of their formulas. The marketing pitch for their brand is how physical, emotional, and environmental stress affects health and happiness. Standard solutions in the health and wellness industry not addressing the whole body and well-being, and so they saw it as an opening, right, to bring these products to market. So I haven't had a chance to really go on to Prima's website or do any more deep dive into the brand or the formulas, but I can speak to testing these products over the last week and just to share general thoughts. So this is the product I've used the most, the Beyond Body Oil. This has 600 milligrams of hemp CBD. The reason I decided, I was like, okay, I'll give it a try, is because it does have magnesium in it as well, and I love topical magnesium. I'm currently using a balm from the brand Earthly as a topical magnesium, and I like that a lot. So retails for $56. It has apricot kernel oil, jojoba, helichrysum magnesium, hemp CBD, of course, and vegan squalane. So I've only used this in the evening after a shower, massaged it over maybe half of my body, kind of upper half, torso, back, low back, that kind of thing. A couple of points. Upon first pump and application, you do get like a bit of that skunky smell. I have like I guess a pretty sensitive nose, but it definitely smells a little skunky, but I guess just because I'm sensitive to it. It fades very nicely on the skin, and overall this is not an overly fragranced or scented oil at all. In fact, I feel like the fragrance that's left behind on the skin is almost like feather light, very gently herbal type of scent. I like the scent. It's probably my favorite part of the product. I do like the texture as well. Let's see if I can find the scent notes. Yeah, I was gonna say it's slightly citrusy. So this actually has quite a few different components that make up the scent. Orange, lavender, cedar, geranium, mandarin orange, clove, spearmint, patchouli, ylang ylang, star anise, and rosemary. So it does give quite a nice scent. I would confirm that it is a drier oil that absorbs pretty nicely. I mean, you can see it is still showing up as being kind of oily on my hands, but when applied to the skin, I think this would be fine as a daytime oil. However, because of the CBD, I do think that it's a better product to be used in the evening. So I don't really notice anything out of the ordinary when it's going on. And the couple nights that I've used it, there have been a couple instances using this in the evening, and I've woken up in the morning and I have felt maybe more replenished, restored, rested than maybe I normally do. But there are a lot of variables to that because so much of it depends on the quality of sleep that one or both of my kids have had that night. So I have a 3 3/4-year-old and a 10-month-old, and someone is always having a disrupted night of sleep. But sometimes I get lucky and everybody has a good night of sleep, including me. And I have had a couple of mornings waking up and feeling truly rested and refreshed since using this product. And I'm not really sure that I could say the same before. I mean, it could be a fluke. It could be that this is contributing to nice muscle relaxation. I don't really know. But I have had some positive experiences using it. I think I will continue to use it maybe a couple of times a week. Beyond the CBD, whether or not I think it's a gimmick or actually doing anything, it is a nice oil. So that's, I guess, kind of what I have to say about that. Now the cream I was quite excited to use, especially when I was like, oh, maybe this will help my tendinitis. So let me show you kind of what the texture of it looks like. It's pretty thick, balmy cream. I do like the packaging. Packaging is really nice, sleek. I think their branding is very on trend, I guess I would say. This has kind of smells a bit like bug spray or calamine lotion, sort of menthol-y, spearminty medicine cabinet-y. So it does definitely feel like a therapeutic type of product. Now I have spent the week kind of massaging this in several times a day, kind of whenever I remember, to this whole area. And really, like, you could do your whole, like in my case, it would be sort of all the way up my whole forearm, even maybe up into my neck, that kind of thing. So I have to say, I really haven't noticed much. I was expecting to notice more from this than the body oil, and I just haven't. This actually has 750 milligrams of hemp CBD, and let's take a look at the rest of the ingredients. Marula, shea butter, and then it has lavender, tea tree, peppermint, rosemary, menthol. It's a very small ingredient list, and I just unfortunately haven't noticed any real difference at targeting my tendinitis. I have heard from other people that have said that CBD products have helped their stiff muscles or joints or nerve pain. In my case, I'm not noticing anything, and I'm kind of more apt to stick with the oil. Now, lastly, these capsules. I personally have been hitting a bit of a plateau with my own health journey, supplementation, postpartum recovery. It's very complicated, and I could never talk about it all in just this review. Overall, as time goes on, I am very, very, very skeptical of so many supplements and practices, and even herbs and tinctures and everything that really just becomes something to shift the focus and attention to outside of, you know, conventional medicine or pharmaceuticals or over-the-counter drugs or prescriptions or what have you. You know, a lot of stuff in the alternative health space really mimics that. It's kind of my big critique of green beauty too, which is that they basically are perpetuating a lot of similar problematic things about conventional beauty, just in a better ingredient way. But a lot of the ideology and the sentiment and whatnot is still exactly the same, but that's probably a discussion for another day. So the number one reason I wouldn't use this is because I have never in my life really had any problems falling asleep. So I don't feel I need any kind of real sleep aid personally. And I talked to my husband Kaveh about this. I was like, would you be interested in trying these? And he was like, honestly, no, I have no problem falling asleep. I just don't have a need really for a product like this. I have heard from people in my DMs when I posted about this who said that they had like the deepest, best sleep they'd had in recent memory taking this, but then it started to kind of not have the same effect. So this is, again, this has been just a long-standing question that I've turned over in my head and thought about and mulled over, and I have no definitive answer, which is like, what is a sustainable approach to health? You know, is there a time and a place when these could be helpful for someone? Probably. However, I also want to point out that I think a lot of the rhetoric around, because this markets itself as being melatonin free, implying that taking supplemental melatonin is bad. And I am not necessarily convinced that that is true. I don't know. I don't have a final opinion on that. I have been following the work of Doris Loh, L-O-H. I don't know how many of you know her. I think she's an academic researcher. She may be an independent researcher, but she's a trained scientist who publishes academic research papers, and she is a big proponent of ascorbic acid and melatonin supplementation, and she has several Facebook groups. Go check her out. See if it's something that you're interested in learning about, but it may have you think twice about thinking that melatonin is bad per se. It's not something that I'm taking or anything I'm diving into, but my own personal health journey, if you will, is really focused on minerals right now. So supplemental copper, zinc, magnesium, boron, selenium, like those kinds of things are what iodine, I'm interested in that world. So, and some herbal stuff, and of course homeopathy. Homeopathy is what really makes the most sense to me and like my being, because it's encouraging your body to heal itself. So I just think in conceptually products like this, I just kind of have issues with, I guess. Not that they're not fun to try, not that they can't have a good effect, but then what happens? You're taking this all the time, or you're just taking this kind of sporadically. A quick look at the ingredients. Broad spectrum hemp extract. So in 2 soft gels, it has 84 milligrams of CBD. Has a bioterpene complex, chamomile, hops, 5-HTP, GABA, California poppy, passion flower, lavender. The ingredients seem fine on the surface, but I just think about anything is on a seesaw. So I just personally, like the 5-HTP, not something I would be comfortable taking based on what I know or what I've seen. And this just opens up a whole can of worms about, you know, how we all consume information broadly, but health information specifically, as our lives have basically been forced online in so many ways. And in one sense, it's really opened up what kind of information is available to us. And in another way, it's become really overwhelming and oversaturating, and people don't really know how to discern, or they get discernment fatigue. I mean, there's so many issues. So I think if you have problems falling asleep, this could be fun to try. I don't personally think it's going to address any kind of root cause of why you have insomnia or why you have problems falling asleep. For that, I would go see a classical homeopath. Probably that would be, you know, my route. But yeah, that's kind of where I stand on it. I will try and see if someone on Patreon might want to try these, because I basically just opened them up to look at them and kind of show what they look like. I would be really curious to hear from some of you who may be more experienced with, you know, internal CBD supplements or topical CBD products. And if you've tried Prima, how it stacks up to other brands that you may have tried and used, just because this is not an area that I have a lot of experience with. I think it's an interesting box. I think obviously a lot of thought and care went into thinking about and curating this box and trying to deliver just something unique, something different, something that may really, really help and work for a certain demographic of the Beauty Heroes community. But I would just be curious to hear from people, because I'm not really a target customer for this type of product, given my critical perspective on beauty trends, which I would put CBD in that. Even if CBD in beauty products, there are good brands. And I have no doubt that Prima is a good brand in this space, because Beauty Heroes is so thorough in their vetting and testing of brands. I know that they would not just do something that was not up to par or quality. And so everyone at Beauty Heroes, before these things make it in a box, you know, they've been spending months and months and months learning and testing and talking and thinking. And so it all gets reflected in this box that we then kind of consume in this sort of quick way and make snap judgments or try or whatnot. But it was really useful for me to have a little bit of a more open mind, and I'm going to continue to use the oil. I do wish that the cream was having a little bit more of an impact for me, but that's where we are. All right, guys, thank you so much for bearing with my inconsistent lighting in my videos. Creating consistent production value on YouTube is a challenge, especially with my current filming setup and my parenting demands. But I will look forward to hearing from you. Please drop me a line in the comments, or if you have any questions. Again, all the information will be down in the description box. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week. And you can follow me on Instagram at LAMOUR. I'm on Pinterest, my website, lamourlamusique.com. My new website is gonna be ready to go pretty soon. And of course, patreon.com/lamourlamusique, where I produce lots of full-length exclusive content, spend a lot of time over there. I invest a lot of energy over there, and your support on there helps me keep putting out consistent content. I'll see you guys hopefully next weekend. Bye.
Guys, this is the story of my life lately. I have a baby on my back. I'm watching another kid over there, and I have not even had, well, I guess I did open it. Beauty Heroes box this month. Okay, so the products in this month's box are the Beyond Body Oil. I hate showing my kids on social media, so I'm always trying not to. The Beyond Body Oil, the R&R cream, and the Sleep Tight Calming Hemp Blend. I think these are capsules, like gel capsules. So of these three products, the one that I'm probably the most interested in is this body oil, and I will try it. However, I think it probably will not surprise you that and maybe you've even heard me say before, I'm just not a topical or even ingestible CBD person. I have a cold also, so I'm not thinking very clearly. I'll probably actually give this to my husband, Kaveh, to try. And maybe he would even try the capsules. I think that's what they are. Let's check. Yes, these are like little capsules.